Hey, it's Adam, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you an inspirational speech, which is going to be exactly what you need to hear. If you're someone who's been feeling lazy and complacent in your life, if you've been feeling lost, if you don't know what direction you need to take your life in, if you're someone who's been procrastinating on the things that you know that you need to be doing, if you've been feeling a lot of fear and resistance, then in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you an extremely inspiring vision and also a blueprint that you can use in your life so that you can realize your full potential as a human being and basically live the most meaningful life that is possible for a human being to live. Because as the famous psychologist Abraham Maslow said, what a man can be, he must be. This is a Maslow quote. He said, if you deliberately plan to live below your highest potential, then I guarantee you that you will live the rest of your life feeling very unhappy. It's not enough to just live an average life. It's not enough to just go to your 9-to-5 job and have a nice family and maybe go on vacations once in a while and not really strive to be anything more than you are currently. To just kind of live an average mundane existence. That is not enough to ensure your happiness and well-being. You will feel miserable and you will die with a bunch of regrets if you are choosing to live the life that 95% of people in our culture are choosing to live for themselves. All right? And let me tell you, the absolute worst feeling, worse than pain, worse than getting your teeth drilled at the dentist without numbing, worse than stubbing your toe, worse than stepping on a thumbtack, the absolute worst feeling ever is feeling deep down in your heart like you are wasting your life. And you know who you are. Let's not pretend. Let's not play any games. You know deep down in your heart that you are wasting your life. And that is the absolute worst feeling ever. And you know that as you get older, as your life slowly decays and rots away, you start to feel even worse. This feeling of wasting your life compounds the older that you get until eventually you get to the point where you're old, you're 50, 60 years old, and you feel like it's too late. And you have all sorts of regrets. That is the absolute worst feeling. And that is really what keeps me up at night. Is feeling like I'm wasting my life. And how can I structure and strategize and live a conscious, intentional lifestyle to make sure that I don't feel that way? So that when I'm on my deathbed, when I'm 70 or 80 years old, and my skin is all old and gray and wrinkly, then I can at the very least, die knowing that I really strive to be the best that I can be and to make full use of the gifts that I've been given. The gift of life, the gift of a healthy body, the gift of a healthy, well-functioning mind. That I use these gifts to the best of my ability. Because your body is not a vehicle that is made just for enjoying pleasure. That is part of the reason that's Part of the joy of life is enjoying pleasure, enjoying some good food, some good sex, some good entertainment. That's all okay in moderation. But that's really not the purpose of your body. The purpose of this incarnation, which means to be in meat, in flesh, is to be a vehicle of spirit, a vehicle of creativity, and of higher consciousness values, like the spreading of love and wisdom and truth. So you have to understand, right now in our current time, we are living in an age that has never before been seen in all of human history. You currently have in your hands access to infinite information. Infinite. Right now, you're watching me on YouTube. You have access to the wisdom of all of humanity throughout as much of recorded history as we've been able to cram onto the internet. And all of this information is available to you instantly and for free. And realize that this is an amazing opportunity, because what that means is that you can literally be anything that you want to be. You can become anyone that you want to become. You can be an artist. You can be a painter. You can be a musician. You can be a content creator. You can be a speaker. You can be an engineer. You can be a business person. You can create an app. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a coach. You can be a nurse. You can be a doctor. You can be a biologist. You can be anything you want. You can be an astronaut. Literally anything. However, 95% of people are not taking advantage of the magnificence of the internet, and instead they're just using it to click around and watch stupid cat videos on social media and to see what kind of food their friends are eating. So the internet is a serious blessing that brings with it many new opportunities, and at the same time it's also a curse if you use it wrong. And I'm going to be teaching you how to use it right, but for now just realize that every single day new opportunities are opening up. The speed of progress is moving faster than it ever has in all of human history. Around every corner, new opportunities are opening up for you to become a creative person, to become an artist, to make a positive impact in the world. You don't have to be a content creator or a speaker, but you can train yourself to make an impact in any way that most suits your soul and your personal passions. Now, the old notion of being an artist, the old way of thinking, is that so either you can go to university and get a good 9-to-5 job, a stable job, maybe a business job or a lawyer or an engineer or something like that, and you'll make good money. Or you can follow your passion and be an artist, but you're probably going to be broke. Well, our culture now is completely changing, where now real artists don't starve. And in fact, your best bet at being rich and successful is to be a creative, to be someone who is working on themselves to master their own life and then sharing the best that they have with the world. That is the best way to make money. So, real artists don't starve. Here's the problem. Because, yeah, sure, this sounds all well and good, but here's the problem. The reason why you haven't done this yet or that you're struggling to do this is because you are too lazy, you're too complacent, you're too comfortable, you're too distracted, you are too weak, you're too much of a victim, you're too ignorant, and you don't have enough vision. You're too short-sighted. And if you continue on this path of being lazy and complacent, then basically what you're going to get is you're going to get the default of what everyone else gets, which is a grindy, miserable life where you're basically just waiting for the weekend so that you can relax and watch Netflix and order some takeout, and then the whole time you're dreading going back to work on Monday. You're going to be flipping burgers at McDonald's, or you're going to be stuck in a cubicle with your neck arched like this, typing away on a computer, talking to people that you hate, talking to the lowest common denominator of society, people who all they talk about is petty bullshit and gossip. And that's going to be your job, and that's going to be your life if you continue being weak and complacent and lazy. But guess what? There's a silver lining here. Within every single human being, I don't care who you are, there is a fucking dragon that sits at the core of your being. Every single person has a creative genius that is what you are. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your disabilities are, or your excuses or your weaknesses. You are a fucking genius, and you have a fucking dragon that is actually seated at your being, a source of creative power, a dragon that desires so deeply to love the world. And the main problem is that this dragon that is seated deep in the cave of your heart, he's probably been sleeping for a very long time. He's probably been very lazy. This dragon has probably put on a lot of weight, and all he does is he just sits in his cave on his mountain of gold. In mythology, dragons are known for being very covetous and also very lazy, where they just kind of sit in their cave on their mountain of gold, watching TV. Dragons used to actually kidnap women, so they did, having sex. They're just basically giving in to their lust. All right, and that's probably what your dragon's been doing. And what we're going to do here in this video is we're going to take a really long stick. We're going to sneak into the cave where your dragon lives, and we're just going to poke him a bit. We're going to poke his nose because he's been snoozing, and we got to wake him up. So we're going to poke his nose a little bit. Maybe we'll give him a little wet willy. Okay, maybe we'll bang some pots and pans because we got to wake him up. And we got to get him angry. And we got to get him on his edge. All right, so here is how you wake up the dragon that is within you. The source of power and inspiration. These are all universal principles that I'm going to share with you. So this isn't just like Adam's opinion. These are universal principles that you can discover for yourself if you study hundreds of diverse perspectives and from masters. So if you study success, psychology, self-actualization, spirituality, business, everything, if you study the tools of the Titans, basically, then you'll find that basically human beings have already figured out what makes the good life. We already know the answer. We've already listed out the principles that create the best life. But the problem is culture has done a terrible job of informing you of these principles. These aren't taught in school. You won't see these on billboards or on the news. You have to actually seek them out for yourself. You actually have to go to the damn bookstore and buy a couple books and sit down and read them in order to start learning these principles. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years, and I'm going to be sharing them with you here. So how do we wake up that dragon that's snoozing inside you? Well, the first thing that you need to do is you need to remember that you are going to die. And not to just think about, yeah, sure, I'm going to die, but actually realize and become conscious of the fact that you are alive right now, and this won't last forever. Very, very soon, I don't care how old you are, I don't care if you're 15 years old, very soon, you are going to die. And you will be dead forever. There will be no more you ever again. You will be dead for an eternity. So this life that you've been given now is very precious. It's very rare, it's precious, and it's a very valuable opportunity. Now, many people shy away from contemplating their death. They shy away from it. Because many people are living petty, shallow lives. So when they think about death, they realize that they're wasting their life, and then they just sweep it under the rug. But if you actually contemplate your death and actually chew on it and think about it seriously, you'll see that that actually cuts through all the bullshit that you've been distracting yourself with, all of your excuses. It's like, oh, I've been feeling, why can't I stop procrastinating? Oh, I've been feeling very lazy. Oh, why can't I stop thinking about my ex-girlfriend? No, see, none of that shit. If you actually realize that you're going to die extremely soon, imagine you're going to die in 3 days. What would you do? Would you be scrolling on Instagram if you're going to die in 3 days? No, you would take your fucking phone and you'd throw it in the garbage if you're going to die in 3 days. Okay, you would have to do some serious soul searching. What I would do is I'd probably turn on the camera and literally just give it my all for 3 days straight. Or else, because I'm going to die eventually, so I need to share my love with the world before I'm dead. So thinking about your death cuts through that complacency, and you need to actually do that. And that's going to make your dragon a little bit uncomfortable, and that's going to cause him to wake up and be like, oh shit, I'm not going to live forever. I got to actually do something. And also, you need to abandon gluttony and comfort seeking. That's the next principle. Gluttony means overeating, oversleeping, having too much sex, too much entertainment. That's what gluttony is. And you'll notice that if you ever watch a movie, then in a lot of movies, there is an archetype, like a character. Usually it's the bad guy, and normally the bad guy is extremely greedy and gluttonous. Kind of like Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars, where he's just a fat slob, and all he does is just eat a bunch of food. He's super mean to all of his servants, and he lusts after women. He just lusts after entertainment, and he basically overeats. He overeats everything. And the reason why I bring that up is because we know intuitively that being gluttonous is not a admirable quality. It's not a noble quality. The most noble people have discipline and self-control, and they take the middle way that Buddhism talks about. But here's the thing. What I found out when I was living with the monks in Thailand was that the middle way is not what you think it is. See, many people think the middle way is like, okay, I'll just smoke a couple cigarettes. Or like, oh, okay, I'll just eat pizza once a week. Or I'll only watch a couple episodes of Netflix per night. And then the rest I'll work. See, no, that's not the middle way. Our culture is, the middle way basically means the middle way between pleasure and pain. So you don't want to completely deny yourself, like an ascetic who lives in the forest and doesn't eat any food at all, and just like sleeps on a bed of nails. That's the one end. And then the other end is basically your life, where you're constantly eating tons of food, way too much. You are constantly entertaining yourself, constantly. You literally have an entertainment machine in your pocket, and whenever you feel a little bit bored, you turn it on and you go scroll on Instagram for a little bit of entertainment. So our culture is on the spectrum of asceticism versus hedonism. Our culture is way leaning towards hedonism. Okay? And what I learned when I was with the monks was that their definition of the middle way is to wake up at 4 a.m, meditate until breakfast, eat breakfast, meditate until lunch, eat lunch, and then meditate until you go to sleep that night at 10 p.m. and then do it again the next day. So you're having 2 meals, about 6 hours of sleep. You're waking up at 4 a.m. That's when the bell rings. And that's the middle way. That's the good life. The middle way is not eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, tons of food, going on Instagram, being lazy, entertaining yourself all the time. That's not the middle way. So in order to live the good life, you need to stop your comfort seeking, because your psychology is actually the most happy and the most fulfilled when you are intentionally challenging yourself on purpose. When you choose to wake up at 5 a.m., even though that day you have no work and you can sleep until 12, but you choose to wake up at 5 a.m. anyways and go for a run. You choose to meditate for an hour when you really don't have to meditate. No one's forcing you to meditate, but you choose to do it anyways. You choose to do 1,000 push-ups in one day. Why? Just because it makes me happy to challenge myself. To take a cold shower when I could take a warm shower. I live in Canada. It's like -5 outside degrees Celsius. There's snow on the ground. Take a cold shower. Why? Because being uncomfortable actually makes you happy. Pushing yourself to your edge, pushing yourself to your limit is how you grow. And growth actually makes you feel fulfilled and proud of yourself. So push yourself, abandon comfort seeking. That also has to do with discipline. So this is a lesson that I've learned really, I've learned this lesson really vividly over the last week or two, where I realized that if you have a wishbone without having a backbone, then your wishbone is going to break. So if you have a lofty vision, a goal, an ideal, but you don't have the actual balls to wake up early and get to work and actually put in the long hours, then you're not going to get anywhere. And your wish means nothing. Your dream won't be materialized unless you have the power, the discipline, and the consistency to work at it really hard every single day. I realized that the universe rewards those people who work really hard. And not that they work hard, that they're stupid, that they're just like a dumb knucklehead who just works for no reason, who just slaves away and breaks their back with no strategy. So I'm talking about working hard with strategy. Working hard involves being a good strategist, which we're going to talk about later in this video. But the other day I had a really good business opportunity, and I was going to ask one of my friends to help me out with it. And I have a lot of friends, and many of my friends are extremely wise and intelligent, and they're also on the path of self-actualization and becoming the greatest versions of themselves. And I could have asked any of my friends, but some of my friends I can tell by their behavior that they're not really committed to living the good life. They're a little bit lazy. They don't take action as quickly as I would like them to. If I recommend a book or something, or I recommend a course, they take months just to even consider buying it. They're not actually committed. Where I have this one friend where he actually dives in to whatever I tell him to do. So let's say I recommend a good video that he should watch because that video will help him change his life. Not only does he watch that video that same day, but then he watches the next 5 videos. And then he starts implementing it and taking action. So which friend do you think I would ask to help me with my business opportunity? Obviously, I'm going to ask the person who's proactive, the person who is working hard. And the same is true with the universe. So the reason why I told you that story is because the universe rewards you and gives you things based on whether or not you are working for it. You have to be willing to do what the 95% are not willing to do. So for the last week, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. and going for a run in the freezing cold. And I've been doing that every morning, and I will continue to do that every morning for the rest of my life because I fucking love it. And people ask me, they say, Adam, why are you getting up at 5 a.m. to run? And my answer is that because you're not. I got that from David Goggins. I'm waking up early because you're not. I'm doing the things that other people aren't willing to do. I saw a video of David Goggins. He's basically just a badass human being who was always pushing himself to his limit. He was running in the boiling heat in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. And someone asked him, said, Goggins, why are you running out here? It's 100 degrees. Aren't you dying? Goggins said, I'm out here because you're not. So you have to be willing to do what the 95% are not willing to do. So think about the thing. Think about that one thing that is the last thing that you want to do. Maybe it's take a cold shower. Maybe it's wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe it's do 100 jump squats, which are freaking killer. Maybe it's to read that thick book that you've been putting off. Whatever the last thing you want to do is, you have to do that thing. Because just by doing that thing, you're separating yourself from the 95%, and then the universe will start rewarding you, will start giving you opportunities. Because the universe sees that you have the balls to actually take action on the opportunities that it gives you. The universe won't give you any opportunities if it knows you're lazy and complacent. Just like how I'm not going to give my friends that are lazy and take so long to implement what I tell them to do, I'm not going to give those friends my business opportunity. I'm going to give the friend who is proactive, I'm going to give him that opportunity. Now the next principle, this is perhaps one of the most important principles, and a lot of these aren't in order. It's hard to really put them in order, but This one would probably be number one. And that is the principle of having a vision. All right? Having a vision is about seeing in the future, 10, 20 years in the future, what do you want to be doing in your life? What kind of job do you want? What is your ideal job? And the key here when it comes to visualization is that don't worry about the practical details. Okay? Don't worry about, oh, how am I going to make money? How am I going to make it work? How am I going to educate myself? How am I going to, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this. Put all that shit aside. Give yourself a magic wand and say, here's your magic wand. Now just wave the wand. You can have whatever you want, any life you want. What life is that? Where do you live? Who are your friends? What are your habits? What is your art? What are you doing in the world? How are you impacting the world? What's your legacy? Think about that. Strategize about it. Journal about it. If you don't know the answers to those questions, then this here is your number one priority. Actively hone your vision for your life. Many people, they're like, oh, Adam, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want my job to be. And then they just go and they click around on Instagram and they go hang out with their friends. No, if you don't know what you want to do, go on Google, find a course, like a life purpose course. There's a great one on actualize.org. Leo's life purpose course is freaking amazing. It costs $300. Go buy it. It's really good. Go buy a book about discovering your purpose, like The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Research. Maybe there's other courses, right? So I actually proactive. How do I discover what I want in my life? So that visualization. And many people don't realize the power of just your ability to imagine what you want. Because once you decide what you want, then you can figure out how to get it. But many people don't even decide what they want because they don't know how to get it. Become used to the habit of deciding what you want and then figuring out how to get it after the fact. So I want to live on the beach and to be an artist, to be a painter. That's what I want. I don't know how to get that. I don't know how to make money. I don't know how to monetize myself. I don't even know how to paint. But that doesn't matter because that is what I want. And I will be able to backwards, to reverse engineer the process for how to get there once I decide the destination. By the way, the internet might help you out a little bit with that. You can literally Google all the skills that you need to have. All right. Now, the next principle that I want to share is being strategic with your life. That has a lot to do with vision, but over the last couple months, I got really interested in chess, and I started playing a lot of chess with my friends and online. And I don't do that anymore because it got really addictive because it's really fun. But about a month or two ago, I was learning about chess. I wanted to learn how to get better at chess, just because chess is so fascinating. And the reason why I love chess so much and why it's such a great analogy for life is that, first of all, chess is completely fair. Okay, so your opponent has the exact same pieces as you have. So if you lose the game, it's because you suck. Okay, there was no chance. There's no victim mentality in chess. It's, oh, I lost because I suck. I made the wrong moves because I'm shit. Okay, so If I make a mistake in a chess game, all of the pieces were right there in front of me. Nothing was hidden. There's no victim mentality there. There's no chance. I'm not rolling a dice. I lost because I suck. And that is how life works. Nothing is hidden from you. There's no chance. You create your life. Your life is the way it is because of how you created it. The environment didn't create your life. Your parents didn't create your life. You created your life. And the way it is now is your responsibility. So chess is fair, and also if you want to learn chess, you want to get better, and you actually want to win chess, then you have to learn the principles. The principles of chess. Just like how if you want to win life, you have to learn the principles of life. In chess, if you want to win chess, you got to attack the center. You need to be patient. I'm actually going to tell you about some of the principles of chess. You need to be patient. You can't just go all out and attack the opponent's king right away. If you don't know the rules of chess, if you take the king, you win the game. You can't just overextend and be foolish. You have to be strategic. You need to slowly build up little advantages over the course of the entire game. And then eventually, by the end of the game, if you play properly, you'll have all of those little advantages will stack up, and then maybe you'll be up a couple pawns, maybe you'll be up a knight or a bishop, and then with that you'll be able to win in the end game. But the way the masters play chess is they don't just attack right away, they're patient, they strategize. And also, they look 10 moves ahead. So whenever I make a move, I'm not that good at chess, so maybe I'll look 2 or 3 moves ahead. But the masters, the chess wizards, which I love looking at the grandmasters to see how they play, because it's such a beautiful example of mastery. Chess is kind of like an art. The masters, when they make a move, they calculate 20 moves ahead. And they calculate all of the variations, how it could go wrong. And it's superhuman if you actually see this in action. Superhuman. They see 10 moves ahead, and in your life, you need to see 10 moves ahead. You need to see 10 years ahead. You need to see 20 years ahead. So whatever you're doing in your life needs to be strategic. That it's mapping up to your vision that you have for yourself. So if you're just working some random job and you don't know why, or you don't know where it's leading you, but you just want to kind of pay your rent and go buy some weed and hit bongs, that's about as strategic as most people are in their life. The most strategic people is they plan out the next couple weeks or the next month. But very few people spend time actually planning their entire life. There's a great quote by Dennis Waitley, I think his name is, and it goes like this: most people spend more time planning a party or a vacation or a Christmas list than they do planning their own lives. So, to be honest, I spend a good chunk of my time every morning just planning my day and also planning my life. I've invested 50 to 100 hours just journaling and visualizing and asking myself, what do I want? What do I want? What kind of life do I want to live? What kind of principles and values are important to me? What are my strengths? How can I capitalize those strengths so that I can have maximum impact on the world and on people's lives? That's called strategy. Most people don't do that because it's a little bit uncomfortable. It's very confusing sometimes. But you need to be willing to do what the 95% aren't willing to do. Chess also takes practice. So the first time you play, you're going to suck. Just like in life, the first time you do something, the first time you try out a new habit, you're going to suck. But if you play 1,000 games of chess, then you get pretty good. Just like if you paint 1,000 times, if you paint 1,000 pictures, your 1,001st picture will be pretty good. That's the principle of mastery. Mastery is about doing something that is difficult, honing a skill over and over again, practicing intentionally every single day, and perfecting your craft. Our culture is an anti-mastery culture. What the values of our culture are is, how can I get the quickest fix possible? How can I get the easy way out? How can I find the magic pill? But the mastery mindset is, how can I improve my craft? Even if it's hard, what is the hard thing that I can do? What's the difficult thing? I'm actually going to go intentionally do that thing, because that's how I train myself. That's how I improve and get better. And also, if you want to win at chess, you need to research. You need to actually learn openings. You need to learn theory. You need to learn about the end game. You need to study past famous games. You need to study the masters. You need to study computer engines. So you actually have to research. So in life, if you don't know where to go, if you feel lost, if you feel lazy and complacent and you don't know what to do, pick up a book. Start researching. Because you can't achieve your lofty vision, because in most cases you won't have the necessary knowledge. You won't have the know-how. You won't have the skills. So you need to intentionally research life. Here's a list of topics that you should buy a book about and read the entire thing and underline and take notes on, and put them in a note-taking software like Microsoft OneNote. Here it is. So you read a book or buy a course about success and productivity. So Google best success books, like Think and Grow Rich, something like that. A really good success and productivity book that I just read is called The 5 a.m. Club. Amazing book by Robin Sharma. Check it out. Also, learn about business and marketing. Now, a lot of people don't realize that every single human being requires business and marketing skills. So 30 years ago, human beings didn't really have good exercise skills. Many people didn't really know how to work out at the gym. But nowadays, most people have a pretty good handle on how to work out. It's just a basic skill. Just like how 30 years ago, many people had no idea about nutrition and diet. Whereas nowadays, a good chunk of people have an idea of how to eat healthy. Now, granted, many people do not, but many people at least have an idea of, okay, so I should eat more vegetables, I should stop eating candy and lollipops and Pop-Tarts and frozen pizzas. 30 years ago, that wasn't very common knowledge. Nowadays, it is. So, entrepreneurship and marketing is that thing where 20, 30 years from now is going to be common knowledge. In today's society, with the internet, you need to know business and marketing skills. How do you craft a message that actually captures people's attention and then helps them? Marketing is not some sleazy tactic where you're trying to trick people into buying your product. Marketing is about positioning your product in such a way that it actually helps people. Because the best products are the ones that actually help people. So marketing goes into the product. So if you're making a business, which is one of the best ways to live a self-actualized life, so that you're not slaving away to some boss who doesn't give a fuck about you, but you actually are in charge of your own income. If you want to make a business, you need to know how to market it to people. You need to know how to convince people that you are going to help them. And then you need to actually help them a lot. By the way, if you are on this path of self-actualization that I'm laying out here, this is some of the best marketing that you can have. Your life is your marketing. If you have a rare and valuable life, people will come to you for advice and want to hear from you. They will want to work with you. They'll want to do business with you because you have an impeccable life. Research diet and nutrition. Research how to exercise. Research relationships and dating. Research creativity and art. How to be creative. How to overcome blocks. Research emotional mastery. How to not be angry and stressed out all the time. How to breathe. Research biographies. Research the lives of impeccable humans like Einstein and Gandhi and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Research spirituality and enlightenment. Many people miss out on this one. Spirituality and enlightenment really is the ultimate goal of life. That's really where you're headed. The reason why you're doing all this business and self-actualization stuff, the reason why is so that you can set a really, really good foundation for yourself so that you can free up your time, energy, and attention and put it into your own spirituality so that you can connect deeply to what is at the core of your being. The source of the universe, which is the source of you. You ever thought about that? The source of you is the source of the universe. The universe doesn't have another source that's like out there in space somewhere. You are the universe, so therefore the source must be in you. And that is the only way you can actually experience bliss and fulfillment in your life. All the other forms of bliss and fulfillment are transient. They pass. Enlightenment doesn't pass. It's always here. Right now. Research science. Research philosophy and metaphysics. This is actually useful. Research psychology. And the key here is that you need to be open-minded and you need to realize that you don't know what the fuck is going on in the world at all. You don't know anything about politics, about psychology, about how to be happy, about anything. You actually know nothing. Zero things. You don't even know about ghosts, psychic powers, psychedelics, paranormal phenomena. All of these things are real. But don't take my word for it. Actually open your mind and go buy a book about it and read it and research it. It'll be crazy, some of the things that you find out. And many people ask the question, well, Adam, how do I read more? I just can't motivate myself to read. Whenever I open the book, I get a couple pages in, then I get distracted, and then I close it, I get bored. Here's how to read more. Turn your phone off and put it somewhere else, and don't look at it for days. Literally turn your phone off and stop looking at it for days. You will notice that you get extremely bored and you have no way to entertain yourself. And then it will be natural for you to pick up a book. The juiciest parts of the book are 50 to 100 pages in. Most people don't get that far because their attention span is shot because all they do is just scroll on social media. All right. Okay, so the next principle is to clean up. Clean your room. Actually give your room and your house a deep, thorough clean. Go into your closet and actually throw out all the shit. This will actually have a psychologically purifying effect on your body and your soul. Clean your environment. Your environment is a reflection of you. Optimize your environment. Clean it out. Get rid of clutter. Throw shit out that you don't need. Clean your computer. Learn how to organize your files. Delete the junk files. Clean your desktop. Okay? Also, clean your mind. Clean your schedule. Stop doing so many things. Stop having such a jam-packed schedule. COVID has really helped a lot of people with this because many people were jam-packed with too many extracurricular activities. They had no time to just sit and self-reflect and meditate and chill out. So clean your schedule and clean up your relationships. Cut off toxic people. Stop texting them. Stop linking them. If you live with them, move somewhere else. Clean it out. Clean up your mental habits. And the way that you clean is what the next principle is about, is awareness and observation and raising your consciousness. So the way that, let's say you clean your room, okay, if I need to clean my room, I have to turn on the lights because I need to see what needs to be cleaned out. I need to remove the furniture so that I can get behind there and clean up the junk that's piled up over the years. Many people live like slobs, and it's not conducive for your mental health. All right? Naturally, me personally, I am not a very organized person, and I need to take proactive steps so that I can stay organized. So I really clean the shit out of my environment constantly. Because if I don't, it'll just be like, it'll be an actual pigsty. Because I'm a very creative, kind of aloof person. So I just tend to leave stuff around as I'm thinking about visions and stuff like that. So clean your environment. Shine the light of awareness on the places in your life where you haven't been looking. So go into your closet and actually get back into the deep corners of your closet and actually throw the shit out. Because if it's in the corner of your closet, you don't need it. Obviously, you haven't looked at it for 5 years, so throw it out. You don't need that anymore. Oh, it has sentimental value. Boo-hoo. Throw that shit out. You're going to die anyways. Okay? So you got to actually shine the light of awareness. Literally look into the deep corners. Ask yourself, what have I been refusing to look at? What have I been not paying attention to? Super powerful question to journal about. What have I been ignoring in my life? What have I been sweeping under the rug? Journal about it. Bring that up to your awareness. And once you're aware of it, just discard it. Clean it out. Get rid of it. You'll notice a big burden lift from you. A lot of people don't know where to start with this process. Just clean your damn room. It'll make you feel super good. All right. Now, also on the topic of awareness and raising your consciousness, practice daily meditation. Do contemplation and psychedelics. I have tons of videos about that on my channel. Check out my psychedelics playlist and my meditation videos. So I'm not going to get into that here. Listen to the sages. read books about spiritual masters that'll inspire and motivate you, and also go on retreats. See, a lot of people, they want to meditate, but they don't want to dish out $1,000 and go to a different area of their city to actually do a 10-day retreat. But over my life, over the last 5 years, I've done 12 retreats, and every single time it completely revolutionizes and changes my entire life. And it's so, so worthwhile. Do a Vipassana retreat. Actually book it into your schedule. Take the time off work and go. The next principle, win the day. This is an awesome principle I got from Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club. I already recommended it. Awesome book. Win the day. Imagine this was the last day you're ever going to live. You wanted to live an impeccable day. This day that you live will be your legacy. How will you live this day? Well, first of all, I'd get a good night's sleep. And then I'd wake up at 5 a.m., bright and early in the morning. Then I'd go for a run. I'd exercise, I'd sweat, because that helps calm me down and helps motivate and inspire me. Then I'd practice some meditation and connect to my deep soul, my deep heart. Then I'd journal, I'd plan, what do I want to do today? What kind of day am I going to live today? Visualize it. Think about it, plan, strategize. Then I would learn. I'd learn something new. I would read a book. I would watch a video. All right. So I'm gonna go into more detail about this in a future episode. But then I would be creative. I would inspire the world. I'd put something out there. I'd spend some time with my loved ones. I probably wouldn't be on my phone the entire day. Right? And then I would just I'd work as hard as I can. And this topic about winning the day, it's a different video. I'm going to have to make a different video about it. Check it out up here if you're watching this video after that video is made. The next principle is to create something meaningful. So actually take that inner gift, the inner resources that you've been cultivating with all these other practices, and then put that out into the world. Maslow said, a musician must make music. An artist must paint. A poet must write if he is to be ultimately at peace with himself. So you have to make something meaningful, something that's meaningful to you, something that you are proud of. Don't worry about what other people think about it. Are you proud of it? Are you happy about it? And then put that out there. All right, so those are all the principles. Now, the main question is, why would I do all of this stuff? Wouldn't it just be a lot easier to just kind of coast in my life? Wouldn't it be a lot easier to just eat some good food, hang out with my friends, smoke some weed, go walk in nature once in a while, go to work? Wouldn't that be a lot easier than doing all this stuff? Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, Maslow said that you actually must self-actualize in order for you to be ultimately happy. If you're not striving to be ultimately happy, the default is misery. Okay, there's no such thing as being a bit happy, or being kind of happy, or being happy enough. There's no such thing. The happiness is a constant pushing of your boundaries to become the greatest version of yourself and to unlock your deepest gifts and potentials. And Maslow said if you're not striving towards self-actualization, actualizing the potential of a human life, then you're going to be miserable. In the same way where if you don't have food, then you're going to be miserable. Or if you don't have safety, then you're going to be miserable. It's a need. Self-actualization is a need. And it's a never-ending need. It's a more of a process. All right? And if you don't undertake this process, you'll die with many regrets. And you'll basically, on your deathbed, you'll be frustrated, bitter, angry at the world, and most of all, angry at yourself. And you'll be afraid to die. So if you do choose to follow this process, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be developing a deep internal treasure. You're going to be cultivating your internal riches. Riches like passion, wisdom, integrity, peace, power, discipline, playfulness, being, and love. You're actually going to be cultivating these gifts within you. And as you do that, you're going to be sharing it naturally with the world, just by the way you show up in the world. You don't have to be a speaker like me, but just by the way you interact with every single person you meet. If you're cultivating your internal riches, that will help other people and inspire them to cultivate their internal riches. And really, your mission isn't complete until everyone else gets it too. Because at the core of reality, everything is interconnected and one. So there is no such thing as I'm awake, but my society is asleep. There's no such thing. I am only fully awake when my entire society is fully awake. Therefore, awakening is a process. It's not a goal or a destination. You can't get there. It's awakening. You're not it's a process. It's an ongoing process of growth and expansion and including. All right, so your mission isn't complete. It never ends. And while you're striving to grow yourself and be better, at the same time, you're content with what is. So this is a paradox that many spiritual people don't understand, where they try and be content with what is. They try and sit and accept the present moment. I talk about that a lot. But then they reject the practical matters of life. They stop trying to be the best self that they can. And they just think that, if I just meditate and ignore my self-actualization, then I'll be happy. But it's not actually true. You need both. You need peace and acceptance and striving for greatness and pushing your boundaries at the same time. All right. That's all I have to say here. If you like this video, then leave it a like, thumbs up, subscribe for more content like this. I'm extremely passionate about going through this process that I just outlined for you. I'm going through this process myself. I love it. I love cultivating my internal riches. And I also like sharing it with you guys for free. Every single week. I couldn't upload last week. My laptop died. So I tried to fix it with my screwdriver and I took it apart and I think I messed up some of the parts, but then I got it fixed. So now I'm uploading again. Stay tuned for more videos like this. I'm going to go in a lot more detail into all of these topics. This was a kind of an overarching big picture view. An inspiring vision for you, and stay tuned because you're going to be finding out how to practically implement each of these details, like doing your art every single day, or winning the day, or cleaning up your room, or even researching, discipline. I'm going to be talking about these topics more in the future in more detail, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you are interested in talking to me one-on-one and you want to experience the awesome power of coaching, then you can book a coaching call with me on Instagram. Send me a DM on Instagram. Say, hey, Adam, love your videos. Let's do a call, and I will give you a free 90-minute to 2-hour clarity call for a limited time only, because as I book up, my time is getting more and more booked up. But for now, I'm offering free clarity calls where I can demonstrate to you the awesome power of life coaching. I will help you figure out your desires, clarify your vision, help you figure out what you don't want, and help you avoid those things, and create a action plan and a strategy for you to take your life and live it to the fullest. All right. So we can do that all in just one call. It's a free call. And if you really like it and you want to work together more in the future, I'll also talk about my coaching packages that perhaps we can even work together long term and really make this vision here stick in your life. All right. Also join my Facebook group. I'm helping people accelerate their spiritual awakening process. I'll link that in the description. And stay tuned. New videos on the way, and I'll see you in the next one.